Dear students, today we will discuss trusted routing schemes. It's lecture number 6 of advanced network security. So let's begin with our topic. And before starting my presentation, I would like to mention here that I have used this article, Trust Mechanism to Secure Routing in Wireless Sensor Network, for making these slides. Agenda points to be discussed. Introduction. In the introduction, we have sensor nodes, wireless sensor network. And in the background, we have trust management, component of trust management, trust threshold, trust in routing, attacks against routing, and secure routing. Now, the first question is that why we have selected wireless sensor network as our network. So I want to mention here, actually this was selected by the paper, but I want to give its justification that in trust management, why they have taken wireless sensor network as a network. Why not they have taken wired network as their example. So normally in wired network, as you know, that you have administrator or you have a central control. So you can manage things easily in that kind of network. But in infrastructure less type of network like wireless sensor network or MANET or WANET. So in such kind of network, you don't have central control or administrator. So in this kind of network, you have more problems related to trust management as compared to in traditional networks. So that's why the paper considered wireless sensor network as their network. But you will see in our coming lectures that we will be considering same type of networks, like we will be considering infrastructure less type of network, normally a network which is used in a wireless network, you may say that. So this is the justification of that. And another point is that this is actually, as you know, that we have working on routing actually. I know most of the students know that what the routing is and where it is performed on OSI layer. Normally routing is performed at the network layer, as you know. And this is performed by the router. And the activity which is performed by the router is called routing. And what is the purpose of this activity? To find optimal or best path for you in the network. Before going ahead, I want to mention here that in routing, as you know, that you have to select an optimal path in the network. So this will help you to select. As you know, that in wireless network, we don't have a central control, you know. So who will perform this routing? Because we don't have a central control and we don't have a router. But in such kind of a network, like in infrastructure less type of a network, normally the routing function is performed by the node as well. So sending will be performed by the node, receiving and routing means forwarding will also be done by the node in such kind of networks. Now, let's start with the topic. So, sensor node, what are sensor nodes? They are small, low cost, capable of sensing, communicating and communicating. When a large number of sensor nodes are combined, so this become wireless sensor network. And why we use these nodes? For monitoring the physical or environmental changes like temperature, sound, vibration, pressure, pollutant at different locations. So we need wireless sensor network for performing such kind of activities. Once they monitor, the result will be sent to the base station, and from the base station, the result will be sent to the user or through the or the result will be sent to the user through internet. A large number of nodes are deployed in open and harsh environment. As I said, that here we don't have any central activity or a central control to obtain data from the sensor field. Large number of nodes collaborate with each other. Definitely node have to collaborate with each other to monitor the area and send the monitored result to the base station. As the capacity of the node is limited in terms of sensing and communication range. So as you know that in this type of a network, we normally call this type of a network as a resource constrained network. In such type of a network, you have a constraint in communication or storage, and you have a range, a communication range as well, because one sensor node cannot send the data to a maximum range. It can send maximum 100 meters of length or of a range. It can send the data to the next node. There is no choice but cooperating with each other. So definitely nodes had no option. They have to cooperate with each other if they want to send their data to the base station. Cooperation of the nodes is vital for the performance of wireless sensor network. So definitely if the nodes are contributing or collaborating or cooperating with each other and sending their better data to the base station, so definitely performance will be depend on that. Although traditional security mechanisms such as cryptography and authentication can provide protection at some level, they cannot alone cope the compromised node attack. For example, if you have made a network and some of the node in that network, if they are compromised, so how you can detect that? Because cryptography and authentication cannot help you in that. Once the node is compromised, it can launch attack according to orders from the outside, which might cripple or control the whole wireless sensor network. For example, malicious node can attract data from other nodes to it through different means, and once it started to receive the data, it can drop all or randomly receive data. So if the compromised node is a part of your routing, so that node can drop all or randomly receive data. To cope with such kind of a node is to monitor and detect them. So definitely you need such kind of a mechanism through which you can detect such kind of nodes which behave in that matter, or which are dropping your data. You have to detect those nodes and avoid not to be the part of your routing activity. Since there is no central authority, as we have mentioned, nodes should monitor and detect malicious node in a distributed manner. So this is the job of all the nodes to detect that which node is not performing as it is decided. Many solutions are introduced to secure wireless sensor network, including routing. As routing performs data delivery to the base station, it is vital protocol for wireless sensor network. Since secure routing, which is resilient against deliberate packet drop and alterations and disruption, act on routing operation is important. To secure routing, especially against compromised node, many solutions are proposed, and they are mentioned in the reference number 3 and 4 and 5 to 7. Trust establishment. This is actually our topic. Trust management detects trustworthy and untrustworthy nodes by evaluating them on the basis of their past behavior or performance. So this is the job of each node to detect the behavior of its nearby neighbor and nearby neighbors. It avoids untrustworthy nodes and select only trustworthy node in the routing operation. So in trust establishment, this will be decided that which are the node they are not behaving as decided. So they will be removed or detached from the right routing process so that you can improve your improve the performance of your routing protocol. Since trust mechanism is simple and efficient in compromise node detection, a significant research is done to enhance security and improve the cooperation in the network. So in such kind of a network, cooperation is highly required. If you want to send the data to the base station, cooperation is required. And if the node is not cooperating in routing process, so you can imagine that what could happen, that it can degrade the performance of your network. Trust management. Trust management is used in several applications, including routing, data aggregation, access control, and intrusion detection. The term trust management is jointly used with the term trust establishment and reputation system. Trust establishment and reputation are in fact part of trust management system. Let me have a spotlight. So, in reference 1, TM is defined as an entity which addresses managing relationships such as information collection to make decisions related to trust assessment of the criteria related to the trust relationship and observation and reassessment of existing relationship. So this is, you may call it, this is an ongoing process, and each time some of the nodes or where you decide to implement this mechanism, this will be checking or making a decision that which node will be the part of a routing process and which are not allowed to be the part of the routing process due to their untrustworthiness. In context of routing, trust management deal with monitoring neighbor node during the transmission, as I said earlier. So node will be monitoring their neighbors if they want trustworthy nodes to be the part of the routing process, detecting misbehavior, estimating trust values based on detection, result, or recommendation, and propagation of trust or value or recommendation. Normally, trust management is divided into 3 components like monitoring, evaluation, and recommendation. So each time this process will be done, it will be monitoring its neighbor, it will performing some kind of evaluation there, and then finally a decision will be made that whether the node will be the part of the routing process or not. Trust management is divided into 3 phases, like we have monitoring and learning unit here, and trust evaluation unit and recommendation. Monitoring, what the monitoring will be doing? Monitoring will be monitor its neighbor nodes, that whether that node is behaving as decided or not. It is out or its behavior is not as it is decided for the routing process. So the output of this will be provided to the trust evaluation unit. Monitoring and learning unit will be getting their parameters from the interface to the network. You can see here. And then trust evaluation will be performing evaluation on the results or inputs which is received from the monitoring or learning unit, and then it is sent to the recommendation management unit, where the final recommendation is made that whether the node will be the part of the routing process or not. Trust threshold. It is an important factor in the attack detection and performance of trust establishment mechanism. Trust threshold is used to differentiate between malicious and benevolent node. Trust threshold is selected as about half of the maximum trust value as mentioned in the literature. You can see here. Hence, in this article, defined trust threshold is between zero point 0.4 and zero point 0.8. In references, the author suggests that the most intuitive trust threshold is zero point 0.5 and the maximum trust value is 1. Optimal threshold can be estimated by maximizing the false positive alarm rate while keeping false negative alarm rate to minimum. Actually, in trust threshold, threshold is decided that up to which level the node will be called trustworthy, and if the value if that value is less than the decided value, we call that node is untrustworthy. And definitely, if that node is decided as a trustworthy, it will become the part of the routing process. And if the node is decided untrustworthy, so this will not be the part of your routing process. Trust in routing. Trust value plays direct role in routing selection process. Each node maintains neighbor list along with the corresponding trust value. Definitely on the basis of this value, it will be decided that node will be the part of the routing process or not. Depending on routing protocol, trust is incorporated in routing process in different ways to find trustworthy routing path and avoid malicious node. So what we are trying to do, we are trying to uh, uh, add those nodes which are trustworthy to the routing process. As you know, most of the students, they know that, for example, if in the routing process, which node is called optimal node. I know most of the students know this. The path which has less number of hops, we call it as an optimal path or a best path. But in trust management, the path which has more trust will be called as optimal path. So we do not believe on a node which has a less number of paths. We go with the path which is more trustworthy. So that's why this is directly related with the routing. So actually, routing is not just that you just send the data to your next hop or to the base station. Actually, this depend that how your next node is trustworthy. So routing selection is performed either by source node or by the node in routing path in a distributed manner. Definitely, as I mentioned earlier, in such kind of a network, this trustworthiness will be checked in a distributed manner because you don't have any central control, as you know. Attacks agent routing protocol areas follows. Gray hole attack, they are normally the attacks which are performed on a network layer. As you know that we are studying trust management, and trust management is the area of network layer, and routing is also the area of network layer. And what we are checking, we are checking trust management in the light of routing paths. So we want to check some of the protocols or some of the attacks which normally happen on network layer. So this is gray hole attack. A malicious node agrees to participate in routing formation, but later on denies data forwarding. At the beginning, it will be the part of your routing process, and once the routing is started, it denies data forward. Black hole attack, a packet drop attack or a black hole attack is a type of a denial of service attack in which a router that is supposed to relay packet instant discard them. But in a black hole, what it does, that it is at the beginning, it shows that I am very close to your destination, and once you hand over your packets to that node, what it does, that it discard them. Sync hole attack, the intruder or the malicious node try to attack the network traffic towards itself. Then the sensor node will pass data packets through the compromised node, thereby manipulating message which sensor nodes are transferring to the base station. So it will, at the beginning, it will get the data from you in the routing process, and when it get the data, what it does, actually this node is compromised, as you know, in the sinkhole attack. So once it takes your packet, what it does that it is start manipulating or start eavesdropping of your packets. Spoofed, alter or replayed routing information. An unprotected ad hoc routing is vulnerable to these type of attack, as every node acts as a router and can therefore directly affect routing information. I have mentioned this thing, that why we have selected this network, wireless sensor network, because we don't have any central control, and how you will be controlling routing in such type of a networks. So in spoof, what it directly affects the routing information. Wormhole attack usually needs two malicious nodes. The idea is to distort routing with the use of a low latency out of bound channel to another part of the network where messages are replayed. Normally once it's received, and after manipulation or performing some activity on it, it regenerates the packets and send. We have studied this process as you know in our last classes. Hello packet attack. In a hello packet flood attack, a malicious node can send, record or replay hello messages with high transmission power. It creates an illusion of being a neighbor to many nodes in the network and can confuse the network routing badly. Acknowledgement spoofing, it is a protocol uses link layer acknowledgement. These acknowledgement can be forced so that other nodes believe a weak link to be strong or disable nodes alive. Disable attacks is a type of attack seen in peer-to-peer network. Peer-to-peer network or a distributed network, they are same as infrastructure-less network, because in such kind of a network you don't have any central control. Which is node in the operates multiple identities in such type of attack. A node will show multiple identities of multiple identities actively at the same time, and undermines the authority power in reputation system. Normally, what are the outcomes of these attacks? As I mentioned that actually this topic was on routing process, and routing process is performed on a network layer. I think you know this thing, and I am discussing and I am telling you this thing again and again. So definitely the outcomes of these attacks will be the parameter which you want to improve on your on the network layer, or the parameter which will be badly affected by unauthorized users. So these are packet drop, packet alteration, and routing disruption. Actually, these are the parameters of the network layer as well. So definitely, as they are the attacks of the network layer. So the outcomes of this will be of the network layer parameters. Although malicious node might use different technologies to launch a particular attack, you can see the outcomes of packet drop or packet alteration. So if we can find such mechanism, or if we increase the trust of the nodes in the routing process, we can improve our packet drop rate or packet alteration or routing disruption. Secure routing, which is resilient against deliberate packet drop and alteration and disruption on the routing operation, is considered to be a secure routing. So now we can say that which routing will be called as a secure routing. So the routing in which you have a less number of packet drops or no alteration, disruption, we call that route as secure routing route. And this process is called secure routing. Observation on attack against routing show that attack goals consist of disruption of routing by various means, packet drop and alteration. Hence, we consider routing as secure if it is prone against such actions. So, if you able to provide this mechanism, means trust mechanism to routing process, so your routing will be secure. Thank you for this session. Inshallah, in the next class, we will take another topic and discuss in detail. If you have any question, you can ask me through KCMS or a group of WhatsApp, which we made for this kind of discussion. You can ask me there. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Assalamu alaikum.